So, ayan, good evening once again to everyone. Welcome to Group 3's accounting tutorial. And for today's lecture, our topic is cash flows and statement of cash flows. Visible na ba yung screen? Yung naka-share screen?
Oo, naka-share na sa akin. Nakikita niya na.
Sa amin wala pa. Sa akin wala pa.
Ulitin ko. Ulitin ko na. Naglag eh.
Kaya natin yan.
Ah,
Overheat
Ala,
na yung
naglag.
overheat ng ating mga device kung araw na ginagamit.
Pinatay mo ba yung ano mo? Tinurn off na lang para maganda.
Oo, pinatay. O, tinurn off pala.
Ayan, okay na.
Wala pa sa akin. Pag visible na, ayan, si Kuya Justin ang magdi-discuss for tonight and Ate Karen and Ate Jamie. And you may take the virtual floor now.
So, ayun. Good evening po sa ating lahat. Ang topic natin for today is statement of cash flow. Ayan, ano nga ba yung statement of cash flow na sinasabi? These are the cash flows. Cash flow statement provides information about cash receipts, cash payments, uses of cash ganun during the period of time. It provides information about sa mga nare-receive nating pera in our entity during the period of time and mga cash disbursements natin o tinatawag na cash outflows or mga cash payments during the period of time. Ang statement of cash flow din kasi is a formal statement that classifies cash receipts and cash payments in operating, investing, and financing activities. Si statement of cash flow is classified sa tatlong activities, yung nga yung operating, investing, tsaka financing. And ang statement of cash flows also shows that the net increase and decrease of cash during the period and the cash balance at the end of the period. Now, punta naman tayo sa unang classification ng statement of cash flow, which is ang operating activities. Ang operating activities dyan, sinasabi na generally involve providing services, producing and delivering goods. Cash flows from operating activities are generally the cash effects of transactions and other events that enter into determination of profit or loss. Ibig sabihin, ang operating activities dyan is yung mga lahat ng activities ng entity na meron ang isang business relating sa mga lahat ng operations. Ayun. So, halimbawa na lang sa operating activities, meron tayong isang entity na grocery store kunwari. Lahat ng mga items na binibili natin, yun, mga cash payments na yun, sa pagbili ng mga items is under siya ng operating activities. And ganun na rin sa pag nakakabenta tayo sa ating grocery store, mga cash na nare-receive natin sa mga nare-receive natin sa mga napagbentahan is yun sa operating activities. Si operating activities is meron siyang dalawang method yan, which is si direct tsaka si indirect method. Under direct method yan, usually lang yan, cash inflow less ng cash outflow. Ganun lang pag under ng direct method. Ito yung mga examples ng mga cash inflows, which is yung cash mga receipts from sale of goods and performance or of services, tsaka yung receipts from royalties, fees, commissions, and other revenues. And under ng cash outflows, mga examples niya is mga payments lahat yan. Wala. Payments lahat yan. Payments to suppliers of goods and services, payments to employees, yan, mga wages nila, salaries, mga payments for taxes, interest expense, and other operating expenses. Now, makikita natin dito yung formal presentation ng statement of cash flow under ng indirect method. Makikita nyo lahat ng dyan, mga cash receive o mga cash receipts natin is binabawas sa mga cash disbursement o mga cash paid natin. Makikita natin dyan na nililess sa cash received ng customers yung cash paid for inventory, for wages, yung mga insurance, and will come up to cash generated in operations, tapos ililess interest expense at income tax income tax paid. Yan, makukuha natin yan. Net cash provided by or used in operating activities. Yan. Next is mga computations kung paano makuha yung mga items under ng mga line items under ng direct method. Hindi ko na iisa-isahin yan mga don't hindi naman sa kailangang memorize, kabisaduhin lang. Ayan. So mga examples or mga computations ng items under ng direct method. Makikita natin yan sa doon sa Google Drive na meron sa atin. Next po is yung punta naman na tayo sa under ng indirect method. Si indirect method naman kasi hindi lang siya yung hindi lang siya cash inflow less cash outflow, kundi ang sa indirect method mga adjustments yan, kailangan ng adjustments kasi may mga items sa income statement natin na hindi involved si cash pero napapabawas niya or napapadagdag niya si net income ng definition kanina, di ba, mga net, it also shows net increase and decrease in net income, ganun ng income statement. So makikita dyan mga apat na yan na naka-bold, yung depreciation, amortization, losses, gains, ganyan. Examples yan ng non-cash expenses. Tama ba? Non-cash expenses yan. And ayan. Sabihin ko ba, kung bakit ina-add si depreciation? Ayan, makikita natin na kung bakit na-add si depreciation kasi diba meron tayong minsan na meron tayong kung bakit siya ina-add kasi wala namang cash flow, di ba? Meron tayong kung i-record natin yan or i-journal entry, meron tayong debit ng depreciation and depreciation expense and credit ng accumulated depreciation. Yan, di ba? No cash involved pero si depreciation is part ng income statement. Since si accumulated, si depreciation expense is napabawas niya si net income, i-add back naman natin siya ngayon. Kaya si depreciation ay ina-add back. Ganon rin sa amortization, sa explanation ng depreciation. No cash involved pero part yan ng income statement. Since since napababa niya si net income, i-add back naman natin siya ngayon. Si pangatlo is si losses on disposal of assets. Si losses on disposal of assets come to analyze na lang. Meron tayong biniling equipment na 20. Tapos ah, binenta natin ito ng ano, sa halagang 10 sa halagang 10 'no, 'di may loss tayo doon na, ah, 20 minus 10, 10 'no, ayun. So si 10 na yun, si loss na 10 is part siya ng income statement. Since si loss is napababa niya si, net income, i-a-add back naman natin siya ngayon, dinadagdag. Kaya si losses diyan is dinadagdag. And gano'n naman si gains. Sa gains on disposal of assets, kabaliktaran lang 'yan ng loss. Nagkaroon tayo ng kunwari bumili tayo ng equipment na 15, binenta natin ng 30. So may, ah, gain tayo doon na 15. Si 15 na 'yun, since 15 na gain, si gain is part ng ano 'yan, income statement. Since napataas niya si income statement, para mawala yung pagtaas niya, inile-less naman siya ngayon sa net income. Ayan. Pang-5 is si increases in current asset accounts. Ayan. So, makikita natin bakit siya binabawas. Kunwari na lang, example na lang para mas maintindihan. Kunwari, bakit siya inile-less. Kasi, kunwari meron tayong accounts receivable, no? At the beginning of the period. Then, naging accounts receivable na 50 at the beginning of the period, then naging 150 sa end ng period or ng December 31, ganun. So may increase na 100 doon, 'di ba? So to entry that transaction, meron tayong debit ng accounts receivable na 100, ang credit ng revenue na 100. Si revenue doon, part siya ng income statement, no? And tinataas niya si net income. And makikita natin no cash involved pero napataas si net income. At dahil walang cash flow but naging part ng net income, then ibabawas natin siya ngayon. Yun, ganun. Next is si decrease in current asset account. And makikita natin na ina-add siya. Kabaliktaran naman ngayon ng kanina. Kung bakit siya dinagdagdag, ito yung explanation. Meron tayong accounts receivable ng beginning, no? Tapos, kunwari, 150. Then naging 50 na lang sa ending. So decrease tayo doon dahil may collection. So may entry tayo doon na debit cash, credit ng accounts receivable. And yung cash ngayon dyan, hindi siya naging part ng net income. Now, para masama siya, idadagdag natin siya ngayon sa net income. Kaya si decrease in current asset account is dinadagdag. Ayun is, next is si increase in current liability accounts. And makikita natin na ina-add siya. Bakit siya ina-add? Ganito ang scenario. Meron tayong accounts payable ng January 1, no? Na 250. Then meron tayong ending na 350. So, meron tayong increase doon na 100. Ayan. So, under ng periodic system na periodic inventory system, meron tayong entry na accounts payable na meron tayong entry na debit na purchases pala and credit ng accounts payable na 100. Si purchases ngayon na debit natin is part siya ng income statement and napapabawas niya or nababawasan niya si net income. Ngayon, kikita natin na no cash involved ulit, di ba? Ayan, no cash involved pero nag-decrease ang net income. Para maalis yung pagbaba ng net income o yung pag-decrease ng net income, dadagdag siya ngayon sa net income. Kaya si increase in liability account is dinadagdag. Next is lastly yung decrease in current liability accounts. Kung bakit siya inililess. Yan, di ba? Example na lang, kabaliktaran lang din ng kanina, yung increase and decrease. Ayan. So, kung bakit siya nililess is because, example na lang, meron tayong beginning na accounts payable, no? na kunwari 300. Then sa ending, naging 250. So, may decrease ng 50 doon. Yung payment na nangyari doon is meron tayong entry doon na debit ng accounts payable and credit ng cash. Ayan. Nabawasan ang cash pero hindi siya naging part ng net income dahil nga walang nominal account. Ngayon, para masama si cash sa credit, ibabawas siya ngayon. Ibabawas siya ngayon sa net income. Kaya si decrease in current liability accounts is binabawas. Yan. So, yung apat na hindi naka-bold, ano lang yan, parang logic na lang ang ano yan. Kung kikita natin si increase in current asset accounts is less. Ayun, si decrease in current asset account ngayon is naka-add, ina-add pa. Ganun na rin sa liabilities. Sa liabilities ngayon, yung increase in liability accounts is dinadagdag. Yan. Pero si decrease naman ngayon in liability accounts is inileless. Yan nga, parang inverse relationship. Ayan. Thank you. So yun po for operating activities.
Okay, so good evening po. Cash flow from investing activities. Investing activities is ito ay tungkol sa mga non-current asset. Include making and collecting loans, acquiring and disposing of investment in debt or equity securities, and obtaining and selling of property and equipment and other productive asset. Cash inflow. Ito yung mga pumapasok na pera or nare-receive ni company na pera. Tulad ng receipt from sale of property and equipment. For example, si company nagbenta ng kanyang property or equipment, yung pera na marireceive niya is cash inflow under investing activities. Receipts from sale of investment in debt or equity securities. Dito naman kapag si company nag-invest or nagbenta ng equity securities. Receipts from collection on notes receivable. Kapag si company naman nakakolekta ng cash under notes receivable, that is inflow in investing activities. Cash outflow naman, ito yung mga lumalabas or yung mga binayad ni company na pera. Tulad ng payment to acquire property and equipment. Yung binayad ni company sa pagbili ng property or ng equipment tulad ng sasakyan or computer equipment is a cash outflow. Payments to acquire debt or equity securities. Kapag si company naman bumili ng equity securities, yung binayad niyang pera is outflow. Others generally in the form of notes receivable. Kapag si company naman nagbayad ng notes receivable, that is outflow or paglabas ng pera under investing activities. So next po is financing activities.
Good evening, everyone. So before we start sa last part activity ng cash flow, ano na ulit ang purpose ng cash flow? Dito natin nalaman sa cash flow kung saan nanggaling yung pera and kung saan napupunta or mapupunta yung pera ng isang company. The statement of cash flow explains how a company's cash was generated during the period and how that cash was used. Last part, activity of cash flow from financing activities. Financing activities includes obtaining resources from owners and creditors. Financing activities includes obtaining resources from owners and providing them with the return or a return on their investments. They also include obtaining resources from creditors and repaying the amounts borrowed or otherwise settling the obligations. In short, obtaining cash from creditors and repaying the amount borrowed settling the obligations. Kapag financing ang pinag-uusapan, affected si equity and non-operating liabilities. Only cash flows on non-operating or non-trade liabilities are included sa financing activities. Non-operating are used indirectly in an operation. Kapag non-operating, there is a return or interest, which means you pay interest or they pay you with interest. Cash flows related to changes in equity can be identified in the statement of stockholders' equity, and cash flows related to long-term liabilities can be identified by changes in long-term liabilities on the balance sheet. So, dito tayo sa cash inflow. Ito yung pagpasok ng pera sa company. So, here we have receipts from investment by owners. Kapag nag-invest si owner sa isang company, then cash ang in-invest niya. That is inflow sa financing. Investment of capital by the owner of the business is recorded in cash receipts. When a company borrows money from a bank or issues bonds or shares, it receives cash. This cash will be reported as a positive amount in the cash flow from financing activities. Ano ang journal entry natin kapag nag-invest si company? Diba? Debit to cash and credit to paid in capital. So, may inflow tayo kasi nadagdagan capital ni company. Next, receipts from issuance of notes payable. Ang notes payable is a written promises and we are indebted to the creditor. Kapag tayo ang issuer, ang tawag sa atin is the debtor. We are the receiver of the notes, then we are the creditor. So kapag humiram ng pera, your asset in the form of cash go up. However, your liabilities also go up kasi ang asset have to be balanced out with liabilities and equity. For example, umutang sa isang financing firm, nangutang ka, so may na-receive kang pera and we are going to pay it back sa future. Entry to record receipt issuance of notes payable is debit cash and credit notes payable. Next is cash outflow, paglabas ng pera. So, payment to owners in the form of withdrawals. Nag-withdraw ng pera si owners sa company. Withdrawals account is a contra account to the capital in the equity section. Ang entry to record payment to owners in the form of withdrawal is debit withdrawal and credit to cash. So, ito ay outflow. Next is payment to settle notes payable. Notes payable are written agreement, also known as promissory note. Promissory note includes terms of repayments and with interest. For example, nagbayad si company ng notes payable. Hindi lang notes payable binayaran natin, merong interest expense. So ito ay cash outflow. Yung company mo nagbayad ng interest on notes payable. Ang entry to record payment sa settled notes payable is debit. Interest expense, then interest payable and credit to cash. And ang company repays the principal portion of its loan pertaining to shares or pays dividends to its owners. The amount of cash used will be reported.
So, ayun po. Let's come to, let's all remember na lang na pag operating activities, it affects the income statement section and ang current asset natin and tsaka yung current liabilities natin. And under naman ng investing activities, it affects din ng current assets only. At tsaka under ng financing activity, it affects yung non-current liabilities natin tsaka yung equity section. Ayan. So, dako naman po tayo sa problem solving. Ayan. I'll give you time to solve and I'll give you time to solve to compute yung net cash flow from operating activities under indirect method. Ayan. You can chat or unmute yung sagot nyo pag nasagutan nyo na. Yeah, heart react naman dyan pag andyan pa kayo. So, ayun. Reveal na ba natin yung answer? Hindi pa. Yeah, we have prepared 3 problems para po sa inyo. Isang problem under indirect method, isang problem sa direct method, tsaka isang problem or pinagsama na ang financing tsaka investing. Ayun. Sige, ayun. let's reveal na ata yung sagot. Ayan. So makikita natin ang mga items under the indirect method. Net income na 250, less si increase in accounts receivable na 300, and less ng decrease in accounts and income tax payable na 170, and depreciation na 1 million, and less natin si gain on sales of equipment na for 40,000, tsaka i-add natin si 210 na loss on sales of building, and we come up to net cash provided by operating activity na 550,000. Yan. Ang hindi nakasama doon is si cash received from customers and cash payment to suppliers kasi sila ay under ng direct method. Ang hinahanap natin is si under ng indirect method. Next problem. Ayan. Under direct method naman siya. Let's give time again sa kanila para masagutan ang problem number 2. Mga 3 minutes, ganun. Madali na lang yan. So, ayan, may sagot na si, sino yan? Si Jedeline. Let's reveal. Ayan. It's negative, ano siya? Negative 100,000. Ay, kinabablanko ako. Ayan, so ang kasama dyan is the cash receipt from customers, less cash payment to suppliers, and cash payment for taxes na 150. So we come up sa net cash used in operating activities is negative 100,000. Yan. Next is compute for net cash provided by financing activities, tsaka net cash used in investing activities. Yan. 2 minutes again. Yan, so tapos na ang 2 minutes. Let's reveal na ba? Sige, let's reveal. Ayan. Ayan, so, may ba? Maingay. Ayan, so, gain on sale of equipment, ano yan? Part siya ng operating. And proceeds from sale of equipment siya ay what? Maingay ba? Rinig ba yung aso?
Carry naman po yan.
Ayan. So, si purchase of bond equipment is part siya ng ano, investing or financing. Ayan. So, part siya ng financing ata. Hindi sure. Hindi sure. Ay, investing pala. Okay. So, yun lang. And sa amortization ba discount, so under siya ng operating. Si dividends declared. Ayan. Dividends declared is part of operating activity. The dividends paid is part ng financing activities. As the proceeds naman from sale of treasury shares is part ng financing, and settled and outstanding loan payable by issuing shares is part ng ayan. Okay. So, ayan. So, number 1, ang is net cash provided by financing activities. Dividends paid, tsaka si proceeds from sale of treasury shares. So, come up sa ng 370,000 under ng financing activities, and ano, under naman ng investing activities is proceeds from sale of equipment na 100,000 and the purchase of bond investment na 1,800,000. So, come up sa net cash used in investing activities is 1.7 million. Yan.
So, I think tapos na yung discussion sa cash flows. Nagets nyo ba yun? Gets ba? Or may kailangan balikan ka na? Yung dito sa last, yung settled and outstanding note payable by issuing shares, isa siyang non-cash transaction. So, hindi siya part ng statement of cash flows. Medyo ano na ate, sabaw na po yung ating ano. Sorry na. Merchant ay non-cash transaction siya, so hindi siya kasama sa statement of cash flows, pero kailangan siyang i-disclose sa notes to financial statements. Isa siyang non-cash kasi sabi niya dyan, settled and outstanding note payable by issuing shares. So wala namang involved na cash dyan kasi yung entry mo is sinettled mo yung note payable. So babawasan mo siya, so debit to note payable and nag-issue ka ng shares, credit to common stock, kung common stock yan, or yung equity. And then, ano ba? Ayun, kapag operating activity, sa statement of cash flows, meron tayong tatlong activities or tatlong classification. Meron tayong operating, investing, and financing activities. So, lahat ng cash na pumapasok sa company at saka binabayad ng company is nanggagaling sa operating, investing, and financing activities ng entity. Choppy ba or okay naman? Ayan. So, kapag operating activities, yan, it affects yung ating income statement and then yung current asset and yung ating current liabilities or yung mga kung ano yung mga operations, yung mga kung ano ba yung talagang business ng isang entity, doon lahat papasok yan sa ating current ay sa operating activities. And then kapag investing yon, it affects yung ating non-current asset and investment. Ayan. Non-current assets sa balance sheet, yung ating mga equipments, yung mga PPE, ayan. Kapag bumili ka ng fixed asset, ayan, and other investment. Kapag nag-invest si company, yan, debit to, nag-invest siya by investing cash, debit to cash, and then credit to owner's capital. Kapag sole proprietor, pero or yan, sole proprietor. Pero kapag mga corporation, ganyan, debit to cash, and then credit to shareholders equity. Pero sa kanya na yun, may encounter kapag nasa corporations na tayo. And then, kapag financing activities naman, it affects yung borrowings and equity or yung non-current liabilities and then yung equity sa ating balance sheet or equity ni entity. Ayun lang. Sa operating, meron tayong dalawang method para i-compute yan, ang ating net cash provided by at net cash used. Kapag net cash provided, positive amount yun. Kapag net cash use is negative or negative balance. Ayan. So, sa operating, meron tayong direct and indirect. Kapag direct, yun nga, cash receipts less cash outflow or cash payments, yun lang. And then, kapag indirect, yun, ina-adjust natin yung ating net income sa mga sa mga subject to adjustment siya, yung mga depreciation, ayan, yung mga changes sa ating operating assets, sa ating current asset and current liabilities. Either way na method, kung alin man ang gamitin doon, is magre-result pa rin yun sa parehas na balance. So, kunwari, may problem dyan sa nagbigay siya either direct or indirect, kahit anong gamitin mo doon, parehas pa rin yung lalabas na balance or yung net cash provided by or net cash use. Pero kapag indirect kasi, ina-adjust natin yung net income. So, di ba pansin nyo, lahat ng mga incomes, lahat ng mga financial statements like income statement and balance sheet, ganon, mga sumusunod sila or sa accrual basis accounting. Di ba kapag accrual, yun yung nare-recognize mo regardless kapag natanggap mo na yung cash, nare-recognize mo yung transaction, regardless kapag kahit hindi mo pa natanggap yung cash, ganon. Or hindi mo pa nabayaran yung transaction na yun. So, itong statement of cash flows or yung cash flow natin is cash basis siya. So, lahat ng mga hindi naman di cash, ganun, i-adjust natin yan sa net income kasi yung net income natin na accrual is overstated or understated siya. Kaya kailangan natin siyang i-adjust para makuha natin yung talagang cash basis profit natin pagdating sa indirect method. Ayan. So sa investing and financing, puro direct yan kasi di ba receipts less payments, yun lang. And then, kapag pinag-add mo yung tatlong yun, nakocompute mo si net changes in cash or yung net increase or net decrease in cash, kung positive or negative yun. And then, i-add mo si beginning cash balance. Ayan. I-add mo si beginning cash balance. Ang makocompute mo is yung ending cash balance. And yung ending cash balance natin is, yun yung nire-report natin sa ating balance sheet. So, yung ending balance sa ating cash, sa statement of cash flows, is yun yung nakapresent sa ating balance sheet. Sa current asset, under cash. Cash and cash equivalents actually. Ayan, ito ang kanyang line item. And itong statement of cash flows is govern ng Philippine Accounting Standards number 7. Ayan, past 7. Ayan. Huwag niyong kakalimutan yan, past 7. Very, close to our hearts. Past 7. Ayan. So, nagets ba yun? Or do you have any questions, clarification, or violent reactions? If any, feel free to chat or unmute yourself. Or if wala, medyo nabangat lang. Stop share. Okay lang. Okay lang. Sana all mention lang. Oo din. Sana all mention lang. Agree. Ayan. So, if wala, ano yung next topic na pwede namin i-discuss for you or atin for the next session? Yeah. You may suggest now. Because my internet connection is unstable right now. Hindi ko alam kung reading pa ba.
Kayo po ate. Kayo po bahala.
Yes.
Kayo na po bahala.
Tayo na daw bahala sa next topic.
Ay, okay.
Wala na kayong gustong balikan?
Diyos ko ate, wala. Wala talaga.
So partnership for next session. Partnership. Ayan. So sa partnership, meron tayong 4 na core. Meron tayong formation, operation, dissolution, tsaka liquidation. Pero feel ko na saan pa lang ba kayo sa partnership? Yan, may sige, feel free. Nag-unmute ata si Jetrin kanina pero nag-mute agad. May sasabihin ka ba?
Ano characteristic na po ng partnership? Ayun.
Step or
Sa may limited life po yung something na tapos si sir. Characteristics ng partnership.
Or classification ba? Characteristic or
Ano ba?
so may 4 stages ang partnership kapag nag-form, start sa formation, tapos yan, nag-operate na sila, operation, and then dissolution na dissolve kasi nag-admit or may namatay, gano'n ang partner. And then yung last is yung liquidation, yung wala na, magle-liquidate na sila. Or isasara doon, ita-terminate na yung partnership.
Yung characteristics, yung mutual contribution, itong division of profit or losses, ganon.
Opo. Yes po.
Wala pa sila sa ano.
Mahaba-habang discussion pa to.
Haba-haba.
Ang medyo mahirap lang dito is yung kapag bonus ka na, magpapampit ka ng bonus, before bonus, after bonus, after interest, after salaries, before interest. Ganun.
Ang pinaka natatandaan ko dun yung before ignore. Panto.
SBIR, yan yung ano namin, nasanay na. Favorite topic ko ang partnership sa accounting. Pero mahirap pag-aralan.
Sana
Pero yun ang favorite ko talaga. Maliban po sa depreciation.
Sana all
Grabe
my
si Ate
favorite.
Beth.
Oh my. Ako
Yun
wala
lang.
akong favorite.
Kaya kapag na-master nyo itong partnership ngayon, yung mga solving, paras lang siya sa law and partnership. Kasi doon din to galing eh. Law and partnership. And yan. Diba? Anong meaning ng partnership? Ayan. Two or more persons bind themselves to contribute money, property, or industry to a common fund with the intention of dividing the profit among themselves. Yun lang yung sa ulo ko talaga sa lahat. Ever since. And article, anong article yan?
1767.
67. Ayan. Kapag pinareset mo ko ng isang definition, kahit anong definition sa accounting, yun lang nang natatandaan ko. Two or more persons by themselves to contribute money, property, or industry to a common fund. Ayun lang. If wala naman na kayong concern, thank you for attending. Ayan, medyo overtime because later tayo nag-start. Yun. Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Ay, ano pala mag-ano tayo attendance before before makalimutan. Ayan. So, may I ask to open your cameras for attendance.
Oh no.
Narinig ko yung pagbangon ni Jedeline.
Wow, ang fresh na ni Shibon.
Miss ko si Chibon eh. Ilang ano siya yung matindi.
Ate, nag-iipit lang ako pa.
Ayan.
Uy, ang
Casey,
fresh
are you
mo.
there?
Sana all.
Yasilin, pakigalawang baso, please. Extend po natin ang ating kanang kamay.
Hindi na muna siya mag-on cam, sabi.
Game na. 1, 2, 3. Smile. 1, 2, 3. Isa pa. 1, 2, 3. Yan.
Yung chiffon pose.
May, alam mo ba, Shibong, meron na kaming Jedeline pose.
Ano yung Jedeline?
Ano to?
Yung sa dalawa lang eh.
Kasi group 3 daw. Group 3 talaga. Group 2 kasi yung pinoportray eh.
Ma,
Ganyan ba?
Ganyan na lang daw para may chiffon pa din. Okay.
Happy.
Ang gagawin ba? Ready? Wait lang. 1, 2, hirap naman. 1, 2, 3. Yan. Isa pa. 1, 2. Yan. Sumakit yung likod ko dun ah.
Ayun lang. If wala na, I will end the recording now. And thank you for attending for tonight. Good night.